Episode 155, Unicorns on Velvet. This is the Aircast for the week of November 21, 2010.
From Aircast.com.
Aircast.com.
Welcome to the Aircast.
Well, thank you, as always, for listening to the Aircast. I'm your host, Eric Larson, 206-339-3742, the listener feedback number. We put that right up front, so if you're listening, as opposed to watching this on YouTube, yes, indeed, for those listening, this is a video episode, another one of the Dweeb Thoughts archive. I think it's episode, I didn't look, I think it's episode 10 of the Dweeb Thoughts video stuff. But on YouTube, you're already there, you're looking at it on the screen, you can see the phone number reference, all that kind of stuff. But for the audio side, I need to mention right up front, 206-339-3742, that listener feedback number. Please call and let me know what you think. Give us some feedback. And if anything's going to bring feedback, the owls didn't. The Paisley owl wallpaper just wasn't the thing that got you talking about your Aircast experience. But this will. Because as you know, my wife is a garage sale, what's the word? Freak comes to mind. Nut. Aficionado sounds way too sophisticated. That's really not what we're going for. It's more the freak or nut kind of thing, I think. She's into garage sales. And not really just not going out and buying things from garage sales. It's more the gather stuff up and then have a garage sale. So that's what she does, is she talks to her friends, and let's get this, and let's bring this in, let's clump it all in the garage, and then in my case, take a couple days off work and sell, which is great. Every once in a while, you come across something kind of quirky. Sometimes you can share the quirky things. Our neighbor Sean is the sidekick on the Keith King Show, which is a local cable access phenomenon, basically. And they came a couple years back and bought some of our old records, like Kenny Rogers and stuff, which I had inherited from a former roommate, I think is how that worked. But anyway, they figured they could give them away on the street as premiums, and I'm sure it turned into a wonderful segment. Well, sometimes the opposite happens, and we end up kind of gathering stuff we didn't think that we'd gather. And usually Ruth is good about saying, Eric, you can't keep that. But every once in a while, I fight back and I say, I have to keep that. So this summer, this has been sitting in the Aircast studios ever since. Let me make sure it's right side up, because you don't want to have upside down unicorns. Okay. If you're just listening, you need to watch the video for this episode, because these are my unicorns on black velvet. Yes, they really are unicorns on black velvet. In fact, if I had a slightly different kind of clientele of Aircast listener, they would probably note that well, I don't want to describe the unicorns as phallic, because I'm sure I will have a young listenership who will say, Mommy and Daddy, what does phallic mean? So I won't say that, but let's just say they're well-endowed unicorns. And immediately, we all know, the progressive car commercials. We know and love Flo. So you probably know the quote, unicorns and glitter. Well, this is unicorns on velvet, and black velvet at that. Kind of in the same vibe or theme as Elvis on black velvet, but not. But just as mythical. So, or not. So, I've got unicorns on velvet hanging in the Aircast studio. And what I'm thinking is I could use them as part of the backdrop. I keep promising that one of these years I'm going to dress up the Aircast studio. You can see it's not very dressy. In fact, I don't even have my fake chroma key pseudo blue or pseudo chroma key blue or chroma blue key pseudo. So mix those words together somehow. I don't even have my blue sheet hanging behind me. I have white, which is hip in that Apple commercial kind of sense, but really not very cool. It's just plain white. What's interesting, I even have a squeaky chair, is it's a whiteboard. See, Cool. Cool. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not cool. It's just a whiteboard. Yeah, it does, fortunately, erase too. So it's kind of a multi-purpose, multi-use, multimedia whiteboard because you can write on it and you can erase that which you write. Yeah, that's the best I got for you. That's as exciting as it gets. Sorry. Yeah. And for those of you who have kind of bumbled onto this in YouTube and are thinking, this is thumb down. That's okay. I can handle the thumb downing because it's really not that good. It's just a guy sitting in front of his whiteboard. But actually, the Ericast as an audio podcast, predating YouTube, goes back to the year 2005. That was like back when you were in grade school or preschool. Yeah, it's a long time ago. And back then, we didn't really worry about video or whiteboards or any of that stuff. But now we have both. We've got video and whiteboards. 2005 was almost no, I'm kidding. We had whiteboards in 2005. But point being, it's not supposed to be good. So feel free to thumb down it if you is that a verb? It is now. Feel free to thumb it down if you want, but yeah, that's that. So hopefully I'll kind of get still work on that studio build out thing. The thing I realized, and so this is in addition to do you want another look at the unicorns? Okay. In addition to the unicorns on velvet, with a really cool frame. You see the frame? It's like a kind of a wood chip frame going. It's really okay. So, in addition to unicorns on velvet, today's topic is the topic of complacency. That's the word of the day, is complacency. And the reason I bring that up, I'll throw it out there just for a couple minutes, because remember, YouTube has that 10-minute time limit. So those of you that are just listening, it's going to be a mercifully short podcast, because I've got to kind of keep it mercifully short. But I was talking with a friend about the idea of being complacent in whatever, pick any topic that you're interested in, issues at work, things you volunteer for, engagement with your family or not, volunteering for the Humane Society, whatever it is. Complacency, all right? And realizing, well, it's either a continuum with complacency in the middle, which I don't know if that's there's a continuum or not. If you're in the middle, I guess it is. Or you've got complacency and then it forks two directions. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just don't know. I don't know which one this should be. But it's something. Because the thing is, complacency meaning like you kind of don't care and kind of don't do anything, right? Like most of my Ericast listeners who don't call. You just don't, you're listening right now. Are you going to call? You're probably not. I'm okay with that. I really am. But that fits into the definition of complacency. Okay, with me? Well, there are a couple alternatives. It's not really a complacency versus healthy engagement. It'd be great if you called 206-339-3742. You sure could. That'd be nice. And that's an option. But there's also there's a dark side to fighting complacency, and that is that you can go negative. You could do something really bad. Examples I use, both of which are, look out, because both of these are religiously charged. Sorry, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, you could argue that the majority of Christians call yourself, evangelical Christians, or pick your population. Are they out there saving the world? Not really. Okay, so maybe that falls into the complacency. Well, in fighting that, you could be like Fred Phelps, Westboro Topeka Baptist Church, whatever it's called, where he's going out there picketing funerals of servicemen and many others. Okay, that's active. That's not really complacent. That's not sitting by and standing by doing nothing. But I'd argue it's bad. It's a bad thing to do. I'm going out on a limb there and saying that that's really not good. That's not good behavior. It's not. So the opposite of complacency is not just do something. Ready, fire, aim. No, wait. No, that's wrong. And the other one, to be a equal opportunity religious disparager or commentator or whatever, is look at Islam. The vast majority of Muslims are fine people on the planet, just kind of living their lives, doing their thing, no big deal. But there's a minority that would say that they're complacent, they're not doing anything, and what we need to do is band together as Al-Qaeda and go out and bomb the infidels. That's also bad. I think we'd all agree that but there's a case where, hey, they're doing something. Well, yeah, but what they're doing is wrong. So how do we hash that out? I don't quite know. Unfortunately, it means I've gone over my 10-minute mark. So I'm going to leave that hanging. 206-339-3742 for your comments in response to that. And until next week, take care.
Thanks for listening to the Ericast from Ericast.com.
Visit us at www.ericast.com.